What is up, everyone? I finally tried out Greninja in the Open Great League and it has surprised me with how strong it really is. I mean, getting 2 Hydro Cannons in just 3 Water Shurikens is absolutely insane. It is very, very squishy though, and it does hold it back a lot. But to make up for that, I'm running big bulk in the back in Cresselia, which besides just making up for the lack of bulk Greninja has, also deals very well with its common counters, mainly Medicham and Lantern. This duo still does struggle with Registeel and Grass types though, which is why I'm running Charger Bug in the middle, because it can deal with those, it can also deal with Medicham and Lantern, and it's a pretty decent pivot in the current meta. Now, this team is definitely not perfect. There are some core breakers, especially Grass types in the lead, or like an Altaria or a Dragon type are quite tough. And if you have a bad lead and you switch into your Charger Bug and there's a Bastion or a Steelix or a Carbink, honestly, generally you will lose. But, you know, any team gonna get hard countered, so just gonna have to live with that. Overall, this team has been very successful for me though. I gained like 80 points in 3 sets to get back into the 3100, so I think the team definitely has potential. Anyway, let's get into the battle, starting off with a very bad lead. I switched into Charger Bug instantly into this Medicham. Should throw a move immediately here, to be honest, but I'm afraid of a catch, so I don't, which allows him to get to the Psychic now before I finish my 4th Volt Switch. Ends up just being an Ice Punch bait though, which I shield. Not ideal, but they end up being super weak to Charger Bug. And this has been a common theme on teams I've been seeing. Like, if they don't run a ground type, like Steelix, or a rock type, like Carbink or Bastiodon, Charger Bug is just extremely strong. Like, the most common hard answers I've seen are like Gligar and Swampert, and Charger Bug has some play against both of them. So that's why I really love Charger Bug in the current meta. My opponent here doesn't seem to have any answers. It's Medicham, and I bring in Umbreon, and Charger Bug does super fine here. I'm gonna fire off my next X-Scissor. I really want to switch here. Cresselia has a very hard answer to Medicham. Even a shield down, it can deal with Medicham easily, especially after the Volt Switch chip I've already done. So getting into a shield deficit here is really not the worst thing to happen. I'm gonna bring in Medicham now. Start firing off these X-Scissors. I really hope I can get to 2. That might even force a shield off of them. Yeah, because the second would knock out. Oh, here we go. Actually, it might barely not knock out, but still, it might be enough to warrant a shield off of this Medicham now. Oh, they do shield it. I can bring in Cresselia. Super hard wall here. Ice Punches will do nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we're just going to let everything go. Farm up as much as possible with Cresselia. They will get to 2 Ice Punches here. And I probably want to fire off my Grassel before the 3rd. But right before the 3rd, so get as much energy for whatever's in the back as possible. Out comes Toxapex now. This is not ideal because Greninja is pretty bad here too. But Greninja's better here than versus Medicham. And they have to get to a full Sludge Wave to knock out my Greninja. So just switch it in now, now that they're low on energy. And we're just going to start spamming these Night Slashes. And this is really the power of Greninja. Like, 1 Night Slash doesn't do that much, but I get to a 2nd. And if they don't throw soon enough, I will get to a 3rd in just 9 more turns, which would knock them out. So they have to throw their move now, which they do. This Sludge Wave will definitely knock me out. At this point, I'm pretty sure my Cresselia will outpace to a Grass Knot before they get to a Brine. It does. We will knock out this Toxapex. And at this health, Cresselia can still take like 2 or 3 Ice Punches. And I should be able to just outpace the Medicham here. Yeah, there we go. Grass Hunt comes out and this will knock out the Medicham. That's a GG. That's just the power of this team, I think. We had a bad lead, but Charger Bug and Cresselia just generally core break teams so hard that you're able to come out on top. Greninja into Lickitung. Now, this might seem like okayish lead because you're resisting fast moves and 2 Hydro Cannons plus Water Shurikens will knock out. This is actually a winning lead for Lickitung. Even if they don't hit a Power Whip, they can straight Body Slam here and win the 2 shields. It's crazy. My opponent here does Power Whip though, hoping I no shield, which is great for me because I shielded it. They waste a lot of energy. Now they're bringing in, what is this? Surf Edge. I'm expecting this to be double fighter, so Medicham in the lead. I would actually think Cresselia is a better answer here than Charger Bug, so you might want to switch that in, or might feel like you want to switch that in. But since I'm expecting double fighter, I bring out Charger Bug, and we just fully farm down. I was expecting that Brave Bird, so I shielded it, and now I can just fully farm down. Had they thrown like a Leaf Blade there, I would probably throw my move beforehand, but since it was Brave Bird, I could easily farm down with Volt Switches and have a lot of energy loaded for this Lickitung that's going to come in. They've already taken a Hydro Cannon, so I can just double X-Scissor here, knock it out. And in the back, I'm expecting Medicham, and Cresselia should be very good against that, but actually does not end up being Medicham. It's Swampert, which is still amazing for Cresselia, because single Grassel knocks out. Because I don't want them to farm down my Charger Bug, I'm actually first going to bring out my Greninja though, because I know I can get to a Hydro Cannon, probably already take a shield, but they don't shield. Just crazy. Fine though, I can still finish this off with Cresselia at this point, most likely, unless they can knock me out in like 3 Hydro Cannons. They decide to try to go for Undercharge to farm me down, but Greninja's just too spammy, takes those mud shots, gets to a Night Slash super quickly, takes a shield now, and that just makes this game so much easier. Oh, and I get the boost right as I'm about to get knocked out. Yeah, that's kind of a common occurrence. But you know, that's okay. Doesn't end up mattering. We're gonna get to the Grass Knot. This will knock out the Swampert, and that's another very good game. Double Fighter. Generally, oh, this is not Double Fighter, but Licky Tongue plus double anti-steal. Generally very good for you. Okay, Carbink lead. Now, I'm a water type versus a rock type. But this rock type puts up a fight. Carbink can actually win the 2-shield scenario versus Greninja, because it's just that much more bulky. And if I no-shield test Rock Slide, I will get to the Hydro still, but they can just shield and farm me down. So I have to be the first one to use a shield, which is awkward. But I can overfarm a lot there. Overfarm to 2 Hydros. Gonna throw my first now. I'm not gonna let that go. I've now got a shield advantage. Out comes Medic. I was expecting a fighter in the back, so I decided to just keep my Greninja alive. Instant switch into Charger Bug, which I felt was very safe, seeing as their rock type was already gone. I wasn't expecting like another hard counter to Charger Bug in the back. And they're staying with Medicham, so apparently they're quite weak to Charger Bug. I'm pretty worried it's going to be a grass type now. Something like a Venusaur is quite a struggle for this team, to be honest, once Charger Bug is gone. So if it's that, the game is honestly just over. Well, maybe not. I do have energy on my Greninja still, and Cresselia is super bulky. It would be hard, but I think I might still win. I think I might have still won, but it ends up being Charizard, which is great. Luckily, I actually threw a Volt Switch there, which I felt almost was a mistake if they were able to farm me down there, but luckily they didn't farm me down. Which is good. And now I'm able to come into Greninja. We've already taken a shield with a discharge. Just go for Night Slash. Would do enough even with the no shield. Get to another one. Fight Hydro, that also would not have gone to another move. So yeah, this Night Slash. Boom. That's so much damage. Even though it's neutral. And now Cresselia is just so tanky. It's just so tanky. I'm gonna let this move go just for science. I want to know how much a Blast Burn does. It does a lot. It does a lot. Even to a bulky Cresselia, it does quite a bit. Still, we're able to farm that down. GG. Okay, Deoxys lead. Not the worst, but this is. Honestly, whenever you see a Carbink switch into your Charger Bug like this, you can honestly expect the game to just be over. But there's no reason to give up just yet, as we are able to get to 2 discharges here, which already puts the Charger Bug, or I mean the Carbink, into range for a Hydro Cannon, which is nice. They have a lot of energy though, and a Moonblast actually one-shots Greninja. I don't think I've ever seen Carbink one-shot anything, but a Moonblast has 101% here. So, it's just crazy. Greninja is so squishy. I mean, it's a super effective move, of course, but that's not something Carbink generally does. So we had to shield that. Also have to shield this Rock Slide. At this point, I'm fully farming this down, because I can get so much energy. I have 3 Night Slashes. 3 Night Slashes. And they're going to have to shield 2 of these if they want to keep their Deoxys alive. So, that's the goal now. 1 Night Slash. Actually, it didn't do enough. They might still consider no shielding the next, actually. But if they want to keep their Deoxys kind of healthy, they're going to have to shield both. Get to another one now. I'll just throw immediately. I didn't want them to get to the Psycho Boost in the middle of my Water Shuriken. They let that go. Now just hope it's like a Swampert in the back. Something my Cresselia can deal with. They're going to Thunderbolt here. They appear to be not that strong versus Cresselia. Good news. It's Gligar. Yeah, and Gligar with a shield advantage just beats Cresselia. So I'm gonna concede the match right there. GG. Okay, Registeel. Now, Registeel is one of the Pokemon you might think is pretty difficult for this team, as it completely walls Cresselia, can one-shot Greninja, and Charger Bug, even though it resists all moves, still doesn't do that well versus Registeel. But Registeel is actually super manageable for Greninja, as long as you have shields. This is why I'm liking Greninja on the lead a lot, because if you face a Registeel here, that's super fine. Especially if you don't get the buff there, that's pretty lucky. But I'm pretty sure that even with the buff, I win this matchup pretty easily in the 2-shield. Because it didn't get the buff though, they also did not get to another move there, so I have to switch out. Actually, I know my opponent's team right here. I faced him the day before, and it's Registeel double Ghost. So going into this match, I already knew that Greninja was going to be the key to victory. I know it's Cofagrigus in the back, so I switch out of my Greninja. Actually, I don't know if it's Cofagrigus in the back, but I know that that's what he ran the last time I faced this opponent. So that's what I'm expecting. That's why I'm saving Greninja. It could always be something else. It could always be something else. So I'm actually not too fussed about Charger Bug going down here as well. Normally, I would have thrown that X's there if I had not known the team. But because I didn't want to get farmed down by the Cofagrigus, I decided to just let my Charger Bug go. and get energy on Greninja, because that's going to be very valuable in the Cofagrigus. My opponent makes a very good catch here on the Registeel first though. And that puts me in a tough spot, because now I probably can't get the 3 Night Slashes first to Cofagrigus, and one will definitely knock out. One will definitely not knock out, and they also have a shield, so I would have needed 3. Still, I get to another move here, and Cresselia is so tanky. It can definitely take a Shadow Ball from Cofagrigus. So even if they get the 2 balls here, before I get to a Grass Knot, should be looking good. Again, for science, I'm gonna let this go. Really want to see how much a Shadow Ball does. My opponent actually decides to go for the bait, which actually does quite a bit. Actually does more than I was expecting for Dark Pulse from Cofagrigus. But Cresselia hangs on, gets to the Grass Knot. It's another GG. Buzzwole. Bad lead, but generally Buzzwole teams don't really have an answer for Charjabug. It's going to be something like a Water type plus an Ice type, and usually no Ground types. I have seen this with Gligar actually, but not commonly. And luckily this opponent does not seem to have Gligar. We get to the discharge, bring the Buzzwole quite low. They're going to superpower me, which is odd. And then they bring in Medicham. So far this has been some weird play, and well, crazy line to be honest. Buzzwole and Medicham together. That's pretty interesting. I don't know what I'm expecting in the back quite yet, but it has to be an anti-flyer, so maybe a Lantern, maybe a Dugong. Either one will be quite fine for Cresselia at this point though. I found that most of these fighting leads are generally pretty core broken by Cresselia, as they usually come with like a Dugong or a Lantern, which Cresselia can beat both the fighting type and the anti-flyer. If it's like Alolan Sandslash, that's a bigger issue of course. But I've also found that most people will switch in their Alolan Sandslash versus Charjabug, which then frees up Cresselia to clean up whatever's left. Anyway, Cresselia almost takes out the Medicham right there. Out comes Dugong. A little stutter there. I've noticed the last couple of days the game has been a bit stuttery, and it just makes like timing these moves kind of difficult. But it's still fine. I actually let this go. Maybe that's a mistake, because my Cresselia does get pretty low, but I was intending to just go into my Greninja here to start Night Slashing. I maybe should build up more, because their timer is not up yet, because they switched quite late. But after this, I should really be building up to basically always have a move ready to throw into the Buzzwole if they were to switch it in, but I don't end up doing that. Still, they're staying in though. Don't think the timer's quite up yet, I guess. I mean, even if they were to switch into Buzzwole, that's kind of okay, because I can farm it down with Cresselia later. And the Medicham is so low that I'm not worried about that, and this Dugong just goes down to a Grass Knot, even with a single debuff, I think, after this Night Slash at least. Yeah, so bring the Dugong very, very low. I'm going to switch into Crest, expecting the Buzzwole. For some reason, I do 2 Psycho Cuts there, because it was kind of laggy, and they actually catch it on the Buzzwole, which is super fine. I was kind of afraid they caught it on the Medicham, but that would have been bad. But luckily, it was the Buzzwole. Because it was the Buzzwole, I can easily go for another Grass Knot there. My opponent actually ends up lagging a turn here. We were both just kind of stuttering. Yeah, this game, some battles just aren't the greatest, unfortunately. But, you know, that's the game, unfortunately, that I CMP tie and I farm down. I don't think it mattered here, luckily, but still, it's kind of unfortunate to see those battles, to be honest. Okay, another Lickitung lead. Again, this is not a great matchup for Greninja, because Lickitung just wins straight body slam, basically everything. But it's fine enough to stay in. And, you know, my Cresselia also doesn't really want to see this. Charjabug also isn't great against it, so I'm super fine here. My usual play here is to just play out the 2 shields. Just to play out the 2 shields. If they want to double shield, that's fine. I'm going to try to catch their third body slam if they were to do that, but most opponents so far haven't been doing that. I tried to catch the second move on Charjabug here, but my opponent very smartly timed their move in the middle of my Wash Shuriken. Didn't allow me to do that. I used 2 shields here, which, I mean, generally is not a great play in the lead, because I'm now so far down in shields. However, I have so much energy on Greninja. I think that's fine. I'm going to get a shield back here, hopefully. Yeah, I do, with a bait there. Honestly, that bait might have not made sense, because I would have reached another Hydro Cannon and 2 Water Shurikens anyway. But my opponent shielded, so it's all good. I go for Hydro Cannon now. Takes the Sableye into the red. We'll bring in Charjabug against this. Should be able to farm it down before it can knock out my bug. Bring out Alolan Sandslash, and this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad, because Cresselia is beaten by both A-Slash and the Sableye. Really should have thrown my Discharge immediately there, but it's fine. I should be able to outpace the Alolan Sandslash still. Charjabug also wins CMP here, which a lot of players don't seem to, or don't seem to know. because my opponent here throws on the CMP tie, which is great for me, because now I do a lot of damage, and they're gonna knock out my Charger Bug here, which means they have no energy anymore, and I can just come in my Cresselia, farm the Alolan Sandslash all the way down, and then hopefully have a move loaded for the Sableye. If a Sableye has a move loaded though, might still get close though. But I think Cresselia should still be able to survive a foul play. My opponent realizes that, so they concede the match. GG. Okay, Pelipper, very awkward lead. I switched into Cresselia here. Honestly, maybe a mistake. I didn't want to go in Charger Bug because I figured that behind Pelipper, there's likely a good electric answer in the back. But honestly, that's not always the case. I've seen a lot of Registeel plus Medicham in the back of Pelipper, or Registeel plus Alolan Sandslash. And then Charger Bug does super, super fine here. And I mean, this is just not good, right? This Alolan Sandslash versus Cresselia is just not good. I think behind Pelipper is always going to be a hard Cresselia answer, either in Registeel or Steelix. If it's Steelix, I mean, Charge Bug also sucks. But if it's Registeel, then Cresselia is just going to get owned, and I wish I switched in my Charge Bug. And that's going to be the case this game. This game, if I switched my Charge Bug, I would have actually been very, very fine. But since I didn't, it's going to be a struggle. I lose switch here to take out the A-Slash though with my Night Slash. I'm actually gonna let this move go. At this point, I just want to sweep with Charger Bug. Actually bait, which is great. Out comes Registeel now. So that means if I just save switched my Charger Bug, I might have been able to like force switch advantage there. Depending on what they switch in. If they switch on Alolan Sandslash, actually, I'm still in a bad spot. I said Registeel would just destroy Greninja and Cresselia. But still, I think it might have been a little better. Actually, maybe not. It would have been, it's debatable, honestly. It's very debatable. Anyway, this is still not that bad of a matchup. I wish actually, this game is going to come down to baits. This game is going to come down to baits. I was very tempted to bait the first move there, because Registeel always shields the first move. But throwing an X-Scissor into Registeel just felt so risky that I did not do that, but I did end up shooting there, so I wish I baited. And there's going to be another situation soon. I go for a Night Slash there. Unfortunately, I don't see the health. It's a bug in the game, which is very annoying. I don't see the health of the Registeel. I don't know if I can farm it down with Charger Bug yet, but I don't think I can. I'm thinking it's still going to be at like 10% health after that Night Slash. So I need to come out of this matchup versus Pelipper to move loaded, because they're almost at a move on the Registeel too. Go for Discharge here, not expecting to throw a Weather Ball immediately. So we'll take a shield. Again, this is where I should have baited, honestly. They're definitely shielding. Well, there's no reason for that to no shield. And after one Volt Switch, the X-Scissor is enough. Look at that. The X-Scissor would have been enough. And if I'd done that, thrown X-Scissor, then one more Volt Switch, then I would have been able to throw maybe another X-Scissor and maybe reach a move for the Registeel. But now, because I didn't, I could never get enough energy to throw the Registeel. If I was also throw a move on the Pelipper, so I just had to let my Charger Bug go down, and I lose the match. So 2 baits there. If I had thrown those 2 baits, I would have been in a much better spot, but unfortunately I did not, and I lost the game. Anyway, Altaria lead. I didn't even notice Pokemon existed anymore, but it's super bad for Greninja, quite bad for Charger Bug too. Cresselia does fine there, but I couldn't switch it in. Generally, Altaria does come with Steel types in the back, which could be pretty bad for Cresselia. As you can see, this matchup is also really bad for Charger Bug though. If I want any play in this match, I kind of need to rely on Greninja maybe with a shield advantage or energy lead. We're not going to get a shield advantage, but at least we have a little bit of residual energy now. Get to Night Slash in 2 versus whatever comes in next, but it's Medicham. I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. So bring the Medicham quite low into a range where I should be able to knock it out with Grasslet from Cresselia. I really hope it's like Lantern in the back. I feel that's like that's could be a team, but it ends up being Lickitung, which is quite bad for Cresselia, as the Licks, of course, are doing super effective damage, and Lickitung is quite spammy with the Body Slams, but Cresselia is so tanky that it can take these Licks quite easily. Doesn't even look like super effective damage, and Body Slam won't really do that much either. So it's actually a kind of even matchup, but it is generally in favor of Lickitung. I go for the Grass Knot there because I wasn't sure if double Grass Knot would be enough to knock out from that range, or if I needed like a Moonblast as well. So it was to like gauge the damage, and looking at how much damage that Grass Knot needs, I definitely need a Moonblast now. So that's what we're gonna go for. First though, I try to get to a Night Slash with Greninja, but my opponent throws their Body Slam right before I can get there. Good timing by them. Now can I get to a move with Cresselia? I go for the Grass Knot, expecting a shield. And at this point, it might actually already knock out. Seeing how much the Psycho has done. Oh, they actually let it go. Wow. Yeah, they have a move on Medicham. Ice Punch Doesn't do that much though. Can I get the 2 grass knots? I cannot. They knocked me out with an ice punch. And we lose that match. GG. I think I could have won that one, sadly. Okay, next game. Alolan Sandslash. Good lead for Greninja because she resists everything except for the Duran. And Duran is kind of slow to get to. They need 6 fast moves to get to the Duran. No matter if they're running Powder Snow or Shadow Claw, they generate the same energy. This is 6. This could be a Duran. They're definitely throwing Duran, right? Ice Punch. Wow, what a bait. They need 5 more for the Duran then. As it's 11 for an Ice Punch plus Duran. So I'm going to throw the Night Slash right before they can get there. They let it go. Interesting. I get the boost. Normally, I might have gone into Charger Bug immediately, saved this energy. But because I got the boost, I have to throw a move. And they let it go, knowing it's just a Night Slash. And it doesn't even do that much, sadly. But it does put it in range where an X-Scissor is going to knock out. So this is quite fine with me. I'll let this move go. Psychic, but Charger Bug takes it. Out comes Sableye now, and this is problematic. Luckily, it is on my Charger Bug and not on my Cresselia, but this is definitely not gonna be easy, as this Sableye is likely able to fully farm down my Charger Bug and get the 2 moves versus my Greninja. And one foul play already almost knocks me out, because Greninja is just so squishy. Unfortunately, I just barely can't get to that X-Scissor. That would have been huge if I get there. I'm gonna let this move go, not expecting return. If they return, their game is over. But they foul play, which is great. Now just get to the Night Slash. Gonna throw it immediately. This point, I just have to rely on Cresselia. There's still no Alolan Sandslash too though, which is not ideal. And the Sableye's energy. Cresselia is super bulky though. I can't take a foul play here. Not gonna take the first though. Gonna shoot this up. And we're just gonna have to go to for this Grass Knot. They attempt to catch. Oh, there's no Alolan Sandslash. There's a Medicham, of course. Yeah. But I know that even after his Ice Punch, the foul play doesn't knock out. So I let it go. Because I don't have any shields, but I could have thrown my Grass Knot earlier, for example, so I didn't have to take the Ice Punch, but I didn't mind taking the Ice Punch, because I know a foul play does not knock out yet, so even if they were there, it doesn't matter. I still get to the Grass Knot, knock out the Sableye, and that's a GG. That was the final battle. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck with your battles, trainers.